Many of us in here today, we set limitations on ourselves. See, when it comes to transformation in our families, we have to become the change that we want to see. That's why I keep reiterating. This is my point. Transformation always starts with you. It always starts with you. I remember years ago, growing up in Harvey, we used to go outside and play all the time. And I don't know about you if you grew up in a neighborhood like I did, but there was always a person in the neighborhood who had a German Shepherd named King. Anybody else knew a King? You had a King in your neighborhood? King was, I was a little guy. I didn't even grow until I got to high school, so I was little, but I was fast. And I realized something, that when it came to, being chased by a dog, I didn't have to be the fastest. I just had to be faster than somebody else that was running with me. King was like a lion to me. I mean, to me, he looked like he weighed 800 pounds. Big dog, vicious dog. He used to chase people around the neighborhood all day. That's how I knew I was a little bit faster than some of the people with me. So we were terrified. My dad even threatened to shoot the dog if the guy didn't get him under control. Back in the day, you could do stuff like that. It wasn't like it is today. So one day, my friends came to get me because we was going to go play running bases down the street. Some of y'all don't know what that is. And we were walking, and I said, well, King is right there. We're not going down there. They was like, oh, no, it's good, watch. So we walk down the street, and we get up to King's house, and I noticed something. They had this big tree in the middle of the yard, and there was a chain around the tree, and the chain was around the dog's neck. And the owner had made the chain long enough where he could get to the end of the yard, but he couldn't get out the yard. So every time that King came charging at you, that chain would yank him back. So then it became a game. Because, well, y'all don't, I was going to say you know me, but y'all don't really know me, but I was the one that would go to the end of the line while he was sleeping. King is sleeping, and I'd get right there on that tip. And I'd be like, what's up, King? And he would come charging. And I was standing there just like that Tom and Jerry cartoon. You get yanked back. Yanked back. I did that I'm not going to lie, I did it every day. I was torturing that dog. Because he had chased me around the neighborhood for so long. So I was big and bad after that. We would go down, it was a thing every single day. So after some time had passed, we were walking one day and I noticed that King was in the yard still. But he ain't have nothing around his neck no more. So instead of walking on that side of the street, we went across the street and walked past. Now I told you I'm a little daring. And I knew I was faster than a couple kids that was walking with me. So I screamed from across the street, because you got a little running room. I screamed from across the street, what's up, King? And throw a rock at him. But do you know he didn't move? He just sat there. So we walked across the street and went up to the yard. I threw another rock at him. He ain't moved. And then I realized something. That even though the chain was no longer on his neck, the chain had moved to his mind. And what happened was that the owner knew that even though he can get free, he's not going to even try because he don't believe that he can. That's the way the enemy works in your mind. Because of so many failures, because of so many people that that never made it to the next level. You watch so many people start businesses and they fell apart. You watch so many people get married and end up getting divorced. You don't even want to do it. You don't believe that it can happen. But the chain is not on you. The chain is on your mind. That's what a stronghold is. I said all that because I want you to get this. It's something that you've built in your own mind. And it doesn't have anything to do with what you can or can't do. It's just something that you believe that you can't do. And if you don't believe that you can do it, you're never going to do it. People told me I would never be able to start a business. They told me I would never be successful. They said you gotta be crooked and you gotta compromise to be successful. But I stood on the word of God. I did what God told me to do. I tithed when it was time to tithe. I sacrificed when it was time to sacrifice. I remember not being able to pay my mortgage, but I still tithed, and I called on a mortgage company, and they were telling me that you can't do this extension. How are you giving all this money to the church, but you can't pay your bills? I said, you know what? Because God is going to pay my bills. And now look where I am. You can't let the enemy try and put something in your head, because when he puts it in your head and you release it to be in your head, it begins to make room and build things in your mind and tell you that you can't do what you can do. Don't be like him, because he who the Son sets free is free indeed.